So, gonna be a little bit different of a video today, but since the year is practically over and SFM just had its last pay-per-view Saturday night's main event, I figured why not we return to one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year, WrestleMania, and actually show you all what the original card for the entire show was gonna be, all the plans behind and what did come to be and what didn't come to be. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this was actually made, maybe I'd say maybe a month or two after my WrestleMania 5 pay-per-view, which was in Hollywood. And as you can see, we have some matches here that made it and some matches that didn't make it. But a match I think we should start off that did make it was the Bloodlines Tribal Combat match, which originally was going to be with Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, and Jey Uso. But of course, we added Solo into it. But this is what it was going to be before. Before, it was just going to be a regular triple threat match with Jimmy, Jey, and Roman settling their issues. It wasn't going to be a tribal, but combat with the Ula Fala on the line. But of course, we added Solo and we made that happen, and we'll get into that later on in the video. Now another match we have here that did happen was Venom versus Carnage, and this was planned almost maybe like before Venom made his debut at SummerSlam, and it just was going to be a regular match, but of course it ended up being a Hell in a Cell match, a match that I didn't really enjoy filming because of the way the Hell in a Cell that I film in is made, but if I'm being honest, I think it was still a pretty good match, even after all the issues I had with it, and this was just a really good match to have at Mania, and I'm pretty proud that I still kept it. Now, this match may be a little confusing, but I'm going to try and explain it. It was a match that was going to happen was going to be LA Knight versus Paragon J. Pierce. Paragon J. Pierce from WWE 2K22, and the story behind this one was going to be that after my match at WrestleMania 5 with Paragon J. Pierce, LA Knight, which was the host of WrestleMania 5, caused him, which did happen, but they never had a match. Of course, they had a match earlier after WrestleMania with the world champion on the line because LA Knight had won the Money in the Bank at the time, and then he cashed in on Austin Theory and then failed, and then him and Austin Theory had their match at Mania. And if I'm being honest, I'm glad I kind of changed it because in the end, LA Knight won the world champion and they still had their match, but it was at Clash at the Castle. But this was a match that was gonna happen, but a match that never came through to happen. Now this match, oh boy, this match was planned after WrestleMania, or maybe even before WrestleMania 5, I'd say, and it was going to be Cody Rhodes, which was still the champion at the time, during his heel run, against Bray Wyatt in a Firefly Funhouse match, and I didn't know if I was going to do this match before, but obviously now I think it's for the best that I didn't do the match and kept the deals, otherwise we would have had a big issue, but basically it would have been for the champion, and it didn't matter who was going to face Cody at Mania. The plan was always to have Cody be dethroned by someone, and Bray Wyatt still would have been the trio's champion along with the Wyatt family during this time, and in the Firefly Funhouse match in the main event, they would have just had a Funhouse match, show what Cody's different phases, Stardust, Dashing was, and then Bray, Cult Leader, and then The Fiend, and all that stuff. And it was just been a crazy overbooked mess, but in the end, Bray Wyatt would have won, but obviously things changed after that. Now, another match that did end up happening, but not in this particular order, was Freddie Fazbear versus The Undertaker. As you know, that match still happened at WrestleMania, but it was going to be a buried alive match, but of course, plans never fell through, and the reason to me that the Freddie versus Undertaker match this year wasn't that good was it was supposed to be a casket match, but I couldn't find my casket, so it was a regular match, so that's probably why, at least to maybe some of you, that just didn't really feel that good. But I later found my casket later, but of course the match was already filmed. But yeah, this was a match that still ended up happening. Now another match before we get out of this picture was me versus Ganondorf, and that was another match that was always gonna be happening. This was probably planned maybe during SummerSlam times, I thought, and of course it happened, but this was gonna be an unsanctioned match. I just named it an unsanctioned match because I just wanted it to be, but of course I never made it an unsanctioned match, but this match was always gonna be the plan for me to have fight Ganondorf. Now on to this. As you can see, there are a lot of matches on this blueprint. on and thoughts that did make happening, but some that you see here didn't happen because of reasons that we're about to get into right now. But I guess the main ones we should just go over is the Will Ospreay versus Cody match right now. So now Will Ospreay versus Cody Rhodes was going to be the official main event for Mania, and I thought about this probably after the dog color match that he had with Brock Lesnar, Will Ospreay, and the plan was for Ospreay to dethrone Cody. And after all that, I think it was the right decision because of what would Ospreay would do after the year and what would happen to Cody. And I think I balanced what happened after Mania between these two pretty good. The story I was able to tell of them trying to trust each other and end up becoming friends was pretty good in the making of it. So yeah, I'm glad I had this happen. Now this match, I don't think there's any need to explaining it like I explained it earlier in the video. Solo Sikoa was at it and it ended up being a tribal combat match for the Fatal 4 for the tribal chief position. Roman won. Funny story, the plan for this match originally was to have Solo win, and I wish I stuck onto that because it would have made a lot more sense with what happened this year in the real Bloodline storyline with Solo creating his own bloodline. I think it would have made a lot more sense and a lot more adding to the story. But of course Roman won, but I think I was still able to get it perfectly with the bloodline story with everything that happened. Then this match here was going to be the original participants for the casino chip ladder match. Of course, maybe like two people made it into this, which was Logan and AJ, and then the ones that got replaced was Lashley, Drew, and Strange. And the plan for this was always for Logan Paul to win, so it didn't matter who was in, Logan Paul was always going to win. Then we had CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, and this was planned to happen even before WWE started teasing it more to happen at WrestleMania 40. And unfortunately, we didn't see it in real life because CM Punk got injured. But in my universe, it was still going to happen. In the feud that these two would end up having in the year 2024 was pretty awesome, and so was this match. Next up, there's really no story to this one. I just wanted something to be like the women's champion match in Mania. Rhea Ripley was the champion at the time. Of course, she lost it to Bianca Belair in her cash, and her and Bianca would be in it, but the Royal Rumble winner, instead of it being Asuka, was Bayley, and that led to the triple threat match with Bayley, Bianca, and Rhea Ripley. So yeah, Asuka never made it to WrestleMania. Now, this match, May versus Ganondorf, was pretty much set for it to happen. It was basically confirmed during the ending year of 2023. And yeah, I think we did good. I wish I booked Ganondorf a little bit better afterwards since he did beat me, but maybe he might return soon. You never know. Now, this match is also one that was always going to happen no matter what, but of course it ended up being a Hell in a Cell match again. I wish I didn't have it, but it was also made for the United States champion since Carnage was the holder, and Venom was originally going to win and being SFM longer with the United States champion, but I decided to have Carnage win since Venom had won at SummerSlam, and it just made more sense, and I think the story of it was pretty good after this match and Mania. Okay, I'm gonna have to explain the heck out of this one. I already know. So, before any of the White Six stuff happened, Joe Gacy, I was gonna have him debut in my Rumble, and him and ACW were just gonna have a little feud. ACW being one of my friends, and they were gonna have a casket match. And how it was gonna happen was Joe Gacy would have won this casket match, leading ACW to another story that would also be happening later in the video that I explained in WrestleMania, but Joe Gacy would have won and, did some other stuff later in the year. Now, this match was just a random throwing together. Damian Priest was just going to win the Hexagon and beat Austin Theory, but of course, plans never fell through, and I'm kind of happy that plans never fell through, even though I think Damian Priest would have been a great SFM world champion, but later in the future, maybe he might get the opportunity and win it, but of course, we all knew it to be LA Knight versus Austin Theory, and I think that was a way better night one main event than what this would have been. Now, this match was always also going to happen. It was actually going to happen a year before WrestleMania 5 in Hollywood, but it never ended up happening, so we moved to here, and it was going to be for the SFM Crown Champion, but of course, MJF lost it during the build-up to Grayson Waller when Miz cost him, and to get some more heat on the feud, but of course, what happened afterwards, I feel like it should have just ended at WrestleMania. There's no need to have it continue at Backlash, but of course I did, but either way, this match still happened at WrestleMania 6. Now this match, time to explain this one. So, Originally, I was going to introduce new tag team champions for one other brand, and the finals would have been Better Than You Baby versus ACW and WWR, and WWR and ACW would have won the tag team champions, but like I mentioned earlier in the video, with ACW being trapped in the casket, he would have not showed up until like midway through the match, and then him and WWR would have gotten the win against MGF and Adam Cole, and they would have been tag team champions and would have done stuff. But I'm glad I didn't go with this option because of what would happen with the story for all of these men and the tag team champions. With two of them, it would just been hard to book both champions on each pay-per-view. So I'm glad I didn't go with this option. Sorry, WWR. Then again, this match, it was just put together. The Street Profits were the champion at the time, I think. I don't remember. And they were just going to have a ladder match for the other tag team champion. It was just going to be a match to have a ladder match, but of course it ended up being Edge and Christian against the Hardy Boys in a tag team match for the tag team champions. But this was a match that was going to happen, but never did end up happening. Then, as you can see, throughout we get with these couple matches, this match, I was just trying to find a way to get both of these men on the card, so I just figured throw them in a match here and, maybe make it for the briefcase, make people think LA Knight would have lost, but he would have won in the end, but it was just a put together match here just for them to be on the card, but I'm glad I didn't do it as it would have just been like a waste of time if I'm being honest. Same with this match, no real story, just a way to get both of these men on the exact same card of WrestleMania, but I think it kind of worked out with Grayson Waller, but in the end it kind of didn't for WrestleMania because his match was pretty short with Drew McIntyre, but in the end this match never came to be. Now with this match, I figure I should explain it. If you see Karrion Kross here in the Judgment Day and wondering why, I was going to have him down the road join the Judgment Day. Of course, plans never fell through with that one, but it would have been the regular Judgment Day against the Blackpool Combat Club for the Trios Champions. Of course, ended up being Randy Orton revealing his team as Evolution against them, and Evolution won the Tag Team Champions, so this match never came to be, it never happened, but the Judgment Day was always going to defend their champions on WrestleMania. And finally, this match, just another way to get both men on the card. Him and Randy teamed up during when they were trying to take out Cody. One of them was going to turn heel, I don't even remember, but they would have led to him having a no-holds-barred match at WrestleMania, and I don't even know what would have happened after this one, so if I'm being honest, I'm pretty much happy that this didn't really happen because of what happened with Riddle afterwards, and, just Randy doing what Randy does, just I'm glad it didn't happen. And that was pretty much every video. As you can see, we have come a long way through with the plans of WrestleMania, what came to be and what didn't come to be. If I'm being honest, I'm pretty happy with how this year's WrestleMania turned out. I think it was pretty amazing. Wish I had commentary for the entire event, but I was actually going on vacation during that time while watching WrestleMania, so it was kind of hard. I couldn't get everything out by the time, but I was still able to get WrestleMania without commentary. The next WrestleMania will have commentary, so don't worry, but I think this was a nice video to do, and if you guys did like this behind the scenes video, let me know, because if I'm being honest, I'd be down to do more, and maybe even we could do another one for WrestleMania 7, but maybe way earlier than a whole, lots of months afterwards of the pay-per-view. But anyways, that was all for the video today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe. I'm doing this before Monday Night Raw, but the time I'm recording, it's on December 16th, 2024 here, pretty at 7:40 something, so pretty late for me. I'm doing this before Raw, something I want to do, so yeah, if you all enjoyed this video, let me know if you want to do more, if you want me to do more of these, I'd be down to, and another SFM video will be coming out later. So anyways, I'm gonna get out of here so I can get ready to go watch Monday Night Raw, and I will see you all in the next video.